Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
And this is Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas. And we're back out of hiatus real fast to do a month-long spooky season for all of you people out there who maybe want something a little darker in content, a little bit more in line with Halloween and the month of October. I am here to please. Nobody asked for this, but I am excited to cover some of these shows that I think are probably due to be talked about. So maybe some new movies as well coming up on this just four episodes, month long for spooky season. I am joined on this first episode by Sarah from Kdrama This / co-host of Afternoona Asks Podcast. Sarah, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm not showing off. It's just, I have been traveling quite a lot with work, and also had a holiday of my own. So I'm a little bit kind of jet lagged, but I'm excited to be talking to you about this drama.
I know. I asked you if you had seen this drama. It is the drama DP, which currently has 2 seasons. It's a Netflix drama and is quite a heavy show. And I thought very fitting for the month and for the sort of vision that I had for this little spooky season that I'm putting out for this month. And you were gracious enough to say yes, and I would love to do a review of it, both seasons. And we have a lot to talk about, even though the seasons are quite short.
Yes.
I think that they're chock full of topics and content that we can discuss. I guess it's appropriate to put trigger warning in front of this episode, just a content warning. We will be talking about things like violence and assault, sexual assault, and violence against LGBTQ plus members of the community, and just really rough topics in the military. So without further ado, I think we can just head into this episode. But before we do, if this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And come check us out on social media to stay up to date on our latest episodes and reviews. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Daebak Pod. And lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It's a great way for you to get involved and show your support and get a bunch of extra content. You can check out the page on patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. And shout out to our patrons: Curtis, Bale, Cindy, CD, Alana, Grace, Lorna, Lee, Sammy, Caitlin, Michelle, Tenmei, Adia, and Aram, who is a new patron. Thank you for being a patron. Thank you guys. Really appreciate all of your support and the great community that we have over there. And without further ado, here we go. DP, seasons 1 and 2. I'll go ahead and read the Wikipedia synopsis for both seasons. For season 1, it reads, set in 2014. DP tells the story of a team of Korean military police with their mission to catch deserters. The series magnifies the undesirable nature of the military, especially within a South Korean context. The widespread bullying and hazing, as well as the mindset for the survival of the fittest, are rife, with those presumed the weakest thrown to the bottom of the pile and served horrifying experiences at the hands of their superiors and compatriots. Private An Do-no and Corporal Han Ho-yeol team up to find the deserters, and they end up on an adventurous journey. For season 2 is a direct continuation of season 1. The first season Season 2 magnifies the undesirable nature of the South Korean military, but mostly done through the perspective of senior officers, covering topics such as corruption, LGBTQ plus discrimination, and the question of whether the military as an organization is responsible for soldiers who act out violently due to abuse by their fellow soldiers. So Season 1 aired August of 2021, Season 2 back in July of this year, July 2023. Each season is only 6 episodes long, and it's adapted from the webtoon DP Dog Day by Kim Bo-tong. It is directed and written by Han Do-ni, who is a male director. He has done basically nothing else besides Hit and Run Squad and Coin Locker Girl. These are both movies, and nothing else for his filmography. This show stars Jung Hae-In as Antuno, and we've covered a bunch of his shows on the podcast, including Snowdrop, Something in the Rain, Prison Playbook, and While You Were Sleeping. I think, Sarah, that you have a little story that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is my second time with Jess, and I'm going to thank you because I kind of feel like I manifested this happening, because I spoke to you on our pod about fan meets and how I was super curious about fan meets and how they worked, and I really wanted to speak to somebody who'd been to a fan meet and just know. And then it just so happens, in amongst this traveling that I was mentioning, that I was in Hong Kong when Jung Hae-In was in Hong Kong to do a fan meet. It's crazy, right? And I just looked at it and I was like, immediately, I was like, I don't care how much the ticket cost. And actually, it wasn't crazy expensive for those people kind of used to getting K-pop tickets and stuff. It wasn't really that bad, but I paid more to be closer to the stage because, I mean, right, obviously, I had to. So, so I went along, and it was just brilliant. It was just, it was a fascinating experience. It was just so. It's such a good show, and it lasted for such a long time, and it was really about really delivering to the fans. And he himself got really emotional because this is obviously, with COVID and everything, this is kind of everyone's first set of fan meets, really, like where they've left Korea and gone further afield. So he's doing a whole Asia tour, but he's coming to you guys in North America. So he has dates in the States and in Canada. So if anyone's interested in going, check out his socials. But I totally recommend, even if you're not a big Jung Hae-In fan, but if you're interested in K-drama and just how these fan meets work, I really think it's worth going. It was great fun.
I'm so glad. Did he sing and dance?
He did sing. He didn't dance, actually. So, okay. I think he doesn't come from a K-pop background like so many of the stars do, but he definitely did sing. And obviously he interviewed, and he was just, I think the main thing is just seeing how authentic he is in his interviews and things, and whether that kind of matches his personality, because he is quite a quiet actor, and he is quite a quiet person, but in a way his kind of earnestness and his seriousness was just so endearing. Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm so glad that you had that experience, because we were literally talking about it on the episode about I think it was Do You Like Brahms you came on the last time, and we were wondering out loud, what's the deal, what happens at these fan meets? And literally full circle, you went to a fan meet for Jung Hae-In, and that he stars in the drama that we're talking about today. I was like, it was like perfect. It was kismet.
It was crazy.
I love Jung Hae-In. I think he's one of my favorite actors, and I unintentionally have covered so many of his dramas. Like, I had no idea he was in Prison Playbook or While You Were Sleeping when I picked those dramas to review for the podcast. And so it was like a pleasant surprise that a lot of his dramas have reviews on the Daebak feed. And I wonder why he's not bigger. I mean, maybe he is big, but I feel like he should be even bigger.
I just wonder whether or not his dramas, I mean, it was funny, right? Because first of all, the thing in the foyer before you go in, they had like a little board of, actually quite a big board of all of his main roles, and we were given little stickers to say which ones were our favorites, and then they were gonna count them all up, and then within the show they ranked everybody's favorite roles, like from the least favorite to So without, like, what do you reckon was his like most favorite role for the fans that were in Hong Kong?
I think it might have, I'll just say Snowdrop.
It was quite high up,
one.
actually. Yeah, it was quite high up, actually, but it was actually Something in the Rain.
Something in the Rain?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I love that.
It's interesting because my favorite was actually One Spring Night, so that's the one I voted for. But even his Goblin cameo was in there because actually that is a lot of people's fan favorite. But it was interesting and pertinent to this as well and what we're talking about. But he said quite a few times in various different sections in interviews that he did not want to play any more military roles. Like he was actually, he wants to kind of like, he felt like he had done a lot of them and that he'd really explored that side of him. And he was actually looking for something completely different. And I was thinking if whether or not, it was something that he could do that made him more popular would be to more standard kind of rom-com. Because he's done a lot of romantic dramas, I feel, but not, this kind of more, I don't know, I'm thinking like we talked about King the Land and Jung Ho in our last podcast together, Jess. But something like really popular like that kind of pushes him into, the public consciousness in that kind of role.
I think, he's missing like a Goblin type show, which is sort of mass appeal, maybe has some fantasy elements, but is largely a romance and will put him in front of even more people because Something in the Rain is a really great romance, but it's not conventional at all for K-dramas. And he's played a lot of military people and cops as well. Snowdrop and Prison Playbook, he was in the military. This, obviously, DP, he's in the military. And then in While You Were Sleeping, he was a cop. I mean, that's very interesting to see him sort of choose these roles, or maybe they just land for him. Like he could audition for 10 things and then he gets these. Like, I don't know. It's weird, and I think it's so fascinating that he said he's gonna try to leave this all behind, like the military roles.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's manifest that for him together.
No, I'm excited because he's chosen really interesting, cool projects, and DP is one of those projects that I don't consider DP, this is getting into like the actual show, but I don't really consider DP a K-drama. I consider it sort of like a Netflix original that's set in Korea.
Yeah.
And it's very different. It doesn't have any of the tropes. It is completely devoid of like the magic that people gravitate towards for K-drama.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to talk about it.
Definitely. I totally agree. And if anything, I think it takes the tropes, the expectations that you place on K-dramas in the drama, and it tells you this is not that drama. You're not going to get this kind of redemptive hero that's going to fix the system. The system is broken. And a lot of the things that you think are going to happen in a K-drama, I think the drama enjoys saying to you, it's not, because this is not how the world works. Sadly.
Sadly. It's really realistic. I think people are upset. I've said this multiple times, when K-dramas are realistic, and this is one of those that feels realistic to the point of, are we actually living in a dystopian society?
Yeah.
Because it's so dark.
It is. And I think it is also a sense of, like, I think I'm in the UK where we don't have military conscription either. So I think sometimes the way that we kind of come across this in K-drama is kind of idols or actors going off on their military service. And it's just, and it's obviously, understandably for us, from a fan point of view, and just like, hey, Sugar's about to go off, on his service, and we kind of see it as like, he won't be back for 2 years, and we don't really don't really kind of examine what that really means, from a society point of view, and I think DP is actually almost too brutal to kind of live in and think, shoot, there are people that send their children off into this world, and this potentially could be what happens to them.
We'll come back to this and the whole show as a whole, I guess, after we finish up with this cast. It's not that many other people that I want to mention, but we have also Koo Gyo-Hwan, who plays Han Ho-yeol, and he's actually a relative newcomer. He's just basically blown up in the last couple of years, last 3 years or so. I think DP was his very first K-drama. He has been in Kingdom, Ashin of the North in 2021 as well. He was in one episode of Extraordinary Attorney Woo. He was in a few movies as well. Peninsula from 2020, which is the sequel to Train to Busan. He was in Escape from Mogadishu in 2021, Runaway in 2022, and you might have seen him in Kill Boksoon from earlier this year, 2023. He does have a few other shows coming down the pipeline for this year, 2023. I don't know when these will come out, but Parasite the Grey from Netflix, evidently, and then One Day Off from Wave. I don't know what those are even about, but that's coming down the line for him too. He won a Baeksang Award for Best Newcomer, I believe, from his role here in DP.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah. Had you seen Gyo-hwan before DP?
Only in his Attorney Woo cameo. But, I mean, you said it was only one episode, and then when you said it, I was like, wow, was it only one episode? Because it was pretty impactful. I think both that story and he himself. So that it was one of those ones that really stick out from Extraordinary Attorney Woo, actually.
Which we've covered on the podcast as well. I feel like it's getting hard not to cover something in these actors. When you go down the line, we're like, oh, and we did that too. Yeah. We also have Kim Sung-Kyun as Park Bom-gu, and he's a veteran actor. He's been in 34 movies, 14 TV shows. He's been the Ajashi in pretty much everything you can think of. Reply series, he's been in 2 of those, Reply 94 and 88. He's been in Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio, which we talked about his character extensively on that episode of the podcast. Grid, Weak Hero Class 1, Divorce Attorney Shin, and most recently he was in Moving. Yeah. Which should come up very soon in this spooky season. Yes. He's also been in a few movies. I'll just mention Soul Vibe, The Suspect with Kong Yu, Hwayi, A Monster Boy with Yo Jin-gu, and Secretly Greatly with Kim So-hyun. So he's been around the block. How did you like him in this show, in DP?
I really liked him, actually. So probably my favorite role of his is one of the replacements. It's probably, I don't know, I love him in both 98 and 94, but probably 94 just because he is, you know, because they always have this character, don't they, in the Reply series that looks a lot older than his actual character is. And that was his role in 84, and it was like a constant running joke.
Yeah.
But he was so dark in this. Like, he's smoking, he's swearing, he's really cynical. And I really love seeing that side of him. Because I think he's an amazing actor. He's one of my favorites. Like, whenever he comes on screen, I'm like, oh, yes. You know, like, he's one of those ones where you feel like we're in safe hands, right? He's in this drama. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not difficult. It's different to see him in a role where, like you said, he's swearing. It's a bit of a anti-hero or, you know, complicated character because he's kind of unlikable on paper, but he's so likable in the grand scheme of things and how he thinks and how he's an advocate, how he's an ally for a lot of these people. He's just also working for the military. Like, he's stuck, right? Yes. In as much of this system as the 2 deserter Pazook guys are, even though they're going in the field, he's like dealing with the higher ups, and you see his struggle way more in season 2, which was very nice change of pace to see what he's dealing with and how he's being heckled to do really questionable things behind the scenes. We'll round this cast out with Son Suk-Ku, who plays Ji-seob. He's just Mr. Gu from my Liberation Notes, among other things. Obviously, if you've seen Sense8, which is an American show, he was in 5 episodes of that. He's been in Mother, Suits, Designated Survivor, 60 Days, Be Melodramatic, Big Bet. He will also be in Murderer o Nangam, which is a Netflix show airing later this year. I don't know what that's about either, but we'll see him in that. I really like Son Suk-Ku.
Me too. Me too. Have you seen that clip that's going on? I love that you list all these dramas, and I'm just going to talk about an internet clip of him reading out like the Barbie Girl lyrics.
Oh yeah, on the P6 show.
Yeah.
I love that. And they asked him a bunch of questions. I mean, I've seen clips of this on TikTok. I should just watch the whole show on YouTube. But he is very chill. I think he just turned 40 this year or something like that. And they asked him, which is better? Like, do you feel any different now that you're 40? And he's like, yes, I do. Like, everything takes longer. My body doesn't recover the same. And I thought that when I was in my 30s, I wanted so badly to be in my 40s because I thought it was cool. And now that I'm here, I wish that I was back in my 30s.
I just loved that it was like only he could make reading out Barbie Girl lyrics look so sexy and just so, just so cool. And I think he's perfect in DP because this is this grey area character. When we first meet him, we're not really sure how to take him. And with Son Suk-Ku, he could be any of these things. He could genuinely be a bit of a douchebag. He could be a sleazebag. He could end up being a hero. He could be any of these things, right? Because he just does that kind of morally grey, could be anything character so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they also asked him who would win in a fight between Mr. Gu and Jisub, his character in DP.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was like, Mr. Gu, no question about it. Like, that
for
character
sure.
would win.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more people in this show. It is hitting a bunch. It's just, collecting actors that you've probably seen before. You might have seen Choi Hyung-wook from 2521, and I think Weak Hero Class 1, if I recall correctly. You have Ko Kyung-pyo, who is also in Reply 1988. A lot of big heavy hitters. Ji Sun-hee, Jung Suk-young. These are like some ajashis that you might have seen before. Really cool talent in this show. Yeah. So now that we've gotten the cast out of the way, what are your thoughts on DP? How did you feel after watching season 1? And how did you feel after finishing season 2?
I waited until... So I did not watch DP season 1 till this year.
Okay.
Despite being a Jung Hae-In fan, because I knew I had seen, obviously the whole set dropped, all in one go. Yeah. And so people who had watched it at the start, they were like, whew, that is tough, right? It's really brutal. And I don't really do violence. I don't handle violence that well. I enjoy watching shows with violence in it, but I don't seek them out, and I have to be in the right mood. Like, I have to be in a solidly good place.
Correct. Yeah,
so I waited until I was, and then I did them all in one go.
Oh, God.
And it's pretty heavy. I was in the right mood for it, but I remember feeling at the end, I was like, well, shoot, I have to go and... I don't know, gotta find some happiness or like sit with some Hello Kitty dolls or something, because it was really it was really hard hitting. I mean, I'm so glad I watched it, because it was everything that everybody said it was gonna be. But it was even more brutal, even more dark, because I think there's a lot of K-dramas out there that are very hard hitting violence wise, and that's kind of where I thought this was going. But this was one of those things that it had stories that stayed with me a lot longer afterwards than other dramas have, where they're probably a little bit more not straight violence, because I don't want to like underplay it, but it's a lot more like action based violence, and it's very like good versus evil. These are the good guys, these are the bad guys. But you come out of DP, it's not, as you said right at the top, this is not a K-drama in that sense.
It really doesn't feel like a K-drama in any sense of the word. And which is why I think it makes people not want to watch it because
Yeah.
they, besides being triggering for any number of reasons and violent, gory, bloody, it also is a lesson in just, how do I put it? A depressing situation that has no solution.
Yes.
There is not a quick and dirty solution that will fix the problems of the South Korean military and the problems of hazing and bullying in general, which I think most people get exposed to in K-dramas through the school dramas, because the school bullying, take even The Glory, for instance, that school bullying or torture, as I said in that episode review, that's just torture. No one wants to think that the military, which is protecting you, is also demeaning and bullying your children.
Yeah.
And it's an unflinching look at a very real occurrence that I remember there was a video that was going around of people talking with people on the street, just asking them, have you seen DP? What do you think? Is it accurate? And every person was like, yeah, I mean, maybe some things are a little exaggerated, but honestly, it's pretty spot on. Which is horrifying. Like, that's real life horror.
Yeah. And I remember that there's a quote, I think it's actually from season 2, but
it's okay, both are on the table.
Both are on the table. So it was Koo Gyo-Hwan's Sung-Kyun's character. So Sergeant Park Bom-gu, he actually says at one point, doesn't he? He's like, I don't want as a parent to put my children through this, through the military.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's actually a throwaway comment, but it is just that mirror held up, going like, this is.
I would never want this.
Yeah.
For my own child, even though I'm here day in and day out and dealing with this shit, I would never wish this experience on my own children.
Yeah, and then obviously hanging over is pretty much every male child does go through this. Yeah.
This is a unique thing. I think a lot of countries, just like the UK, the US is not doesn't have a conscription-based military. Obviously, in previous wars, there have been drafts, but now, for the last few decades, it's volunteer basis for the military. And, sometimes you get some stories pop out in the news where something happened in the military, and you get like a few good men moment where you're like, okay, is this a sort of conspiracy? Are they like covering it up? Did something happen? They're not telling the full story. But honestly, we don't get this level of bullying in our schools. We don't get it in our military with what's trickled down and told to us, right? This harsh look at the South Korean military, I don't know what it says about the society. I mean, we can pick it apart, but honestly, when I was watching it, it felt like they had a lot to say, right? Like the show has something to say, and it's not offering any solutions. It's not offering anything. It's just saying, look at what's happening.
Yeah. And also I think for me, just how relentless it is, right? So again, we spoke about how, so probably in a K-drama, you'd have the plucky person that would be standing up to the system and saying like, I'm going to change things. This is not how it's going to be anymore. And they showed you that there were some people who tried to, and they didn't get very far because you can't fight the system by yourself internally. And in the end, people who did not even want to bully ended up being bulliers. People who didn't want to do hazing, torture, ended up doing that despite themselves, despite their initial intentions. So the K-drama was very much, this is not a K-drama in that there is a plucky person that stood up and, hey, look at this redemptive arc that, people get. It is just the system is fundamentally broken. and you can still have people that act in a heroic, in quote marks, way through the seasons, both seasons, but ultimately at the end of it you don't get a ray of light. There isn't a kind of, you know, it's fine actually. You know, these problems, or this set of problems, have a solution, because you definitely come out of it, or I definitely came out of it thinking, no, there's no solutions, right?
It is very much, and we've said this on and off on the podcast, but even the language is hierarchical, and the way that the military is obviously is hierarchical. Everywhere that there is a military, it is, you follow orders, and that's that. Like, a soldier needs to follow orders. There is a chain of command, and it's mind-boggling the type of leadership that is portrayed in the show, which is not uncommon for K-dramas to show flawed leadership, but I think the systemic nature of how they approach punishment and the PR of the military, and just maintaining the public image of the Korean military, and how they don't want things to be exposed and for them to look bad, and they don't want, it's like snitches, like the snitching mentality. It's wild to me that they, you know, people could be punished for telling the truth.
Yeah.
And
then also sorry.
Oh, go right ahead.
You carry on.
No, you can pick it right up.
No, because I think you were finishing a point and I was about to make something, and you were.
No, I was going to change gears.
Oh, all right. I think for me, the show does go out of the military and back into Korean society as well, right? So that also makes it depressing because it actually isn't contained. So one of the things, like, I rolled into DP season 1 out of Alchemy of Souls, which, you know, everyone famously knows your views on Alchemy of Souls. But one of the people that I think you did like, and I definitely like, was Shin Sung-ho, who played the Crown Prince, right? I remember coming up thinking, oh, it's the Crown Prince. I love the Crown Prince. And then obviously within 2 minutes, you're like, oh, shoot, he is... he's no longer the Crown Prince. And
okay, you came at this
really,
backwards.
Yeah, it's really horrific. But anyway, we see him later in Korean. So I'm not going to go into spoilers, it's not the spoiler section, but we see him go into Korean society, and actually, in some senses, nothing has really changed.
Oh my God!
I found that thread. It was actually a small thread, but I found it really, really depressing.
Very impactful to see his life after he gets discharged. And yeah, what I mean by you saw this backwards is that DP season 1 happened in 2021, right? And then Alchemy of Souls happened, what was it? Part 1 was 2022, late 2022. Yeah. And then part 2 was like late 2022, early 2023, I believe.
Yeah.
So, like, in between DP seasons, he did Alchemy of Souls came out, and he was quite endearing in Alchemy of Souls. People sort of rallied for him. They were on his side, the turtle and him and whatever. I knew him as the nightmare bully from season 1 of DP. And so when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, it's this terror back.
Psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah, he's nightmare fuel in DP. And I don't know where these actors get it from.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's pulling from, but it's intense and it feels very real.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I don't want to go into spoilers. Whoa, let's talk about this really fast. So emotions in the show. Throughout the show, it sort of shows how they are processing different things or not processing different things, traumas that happen to them.
Yeah.
And the way that emotions that they express themselves is almost always violence. again, like K-dramas have kind of come far, and you can see like different ways that characters express themselves and how they cope with things. And to see almost every character resort to violence, to finally express frustrations when things bubble over, when they're dealing with the trauma, they just resort to violence. That's like their first thing. I don't know what my thought is, but I just had to like point that out, how disturbing that is too. That even the good characters, quote unquote good characters, or characters that you're rooting for, they also resort to violence. Yeah. It's that they're not immune to it.
No, exactly.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I think you already mentioned the apathy or indifference of others in the military, even if they're not getting directly bullied, even if they're not, directly doing anything adverse to other people. They are not helping. They are bystanders. It's like the bystander effect in mass.
It is. Yeah. But I think the drama does a good job of showing you that, like, that's a self-survival thing, right? If you're not currently involved in it, just keep your head down, and you don't want to try and have the attention put on you at all. Yeah. So just circling back a bit, because I think you asked about both season 1 and season 2. So I do think, although season 2 is a continuation of season 1, I think for me, they did actually have they felt a bit different. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but like, I think season 1 had a lightheartedness.
Yes.
And a humor that season 2, like, it was a specific decision not to have, if that makes sense. So I think for me, season 1, there was a lot of the bromance. Between our two leads. Yeah. And it was definitely a lot more muted. I mean, partly obviously because of the storyline, but actually I think they specifically did not want to go back into the bromance and show that wasn't part of the feel of season 2. So I think for me, season 2 was, I mean, I also think the storyline, I think it wasn't quite as vignette-y as season 1, but I think the stories that we did get in season 2 was so dark. So dark. So, you roll out of season 1, or I did roll out of season 1, think like, shoot, that was tough. And then you go into season 2 and you're like, okay, that's like another level. They've dropped like another level of dark, and another level of brutal, and another level of amazing. And I think I chatted to you, didn't I, before we started the show, like, I can't believe this is only 12 episodes.
Yes.
Because what they managed to achieve, and the density of the material that they cover, and the kind of the pathos of some of those stories, is like, wow, these are really seriously talented storytellers. They managed to do all of that in just 12 episodes.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the writer-director does after DP, considering that he's only done 2 other movies, and this is pretty much it.
Yeah. So circle back a minute. I am not a big K-movie fan, not because I don't like them, but actually in the UK, we do have trouble getting like lots of K-movies. But Hit and Run Squad is a random film I managed to see on a plane. And it is one of the worst K-movies I've seen.
Okay.
So I hadn't realized, I hadn't done my homework. So I hadn't realized the director for this was the director for that movie. But if you'd have told me that these 2 people were in any way linked, I'd have been like, no. Because everything that I've just said about DP season 2 is absent from, season 1 and season 2 is absent from that drama. Like plot, depth, pathos, empathy for characters. I'm just like, I was really shocked that this was like the same guy. So yeah.
Yeah, the only one that I really want to watch that has been on my watch list forever is Coin Locker Girl from 2015. It is a crime thriller starring Kim Hae-soo and Kim Go-eun. So Kim Hae-soo, if you've seen Signal.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I need to.
Under the Queen's umbrella, she's the queen.
Yes. I know who she is. I haven't seen either of those.
No, it's fine. As long I'm just like putting a name to the face. And then
Yeah.
Kim Go-Eun, obviously from Goblin and a bunch of other stuff. Park Bo-gum is in it. So is Wee Ha-joon.
Wow, that is quite a cast.
Big cast. I'll read the
Yeah.
synopsis really fast so you just get an idea of what the movie is about. Abandoned as a baby in a subway locker, Il-young becomes an enforcer for a woman known as Mother. While on another assignment, Il-young meets Suk-Kyun, the son of a debtor, and develops unfamiliar feelings toward the world outside Chinatown. So it is probably, I know it's like really dark and it's almost like not really a romance, but like I'm sure she has to fight Mother to like get out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I can guess where the story goes, but I'm really interested in seeing that one. And that's all he's done. Like it's really incredible to see how he crafted so many little stories and vignettes. Like you said, season one is more episodic with a big through line as well. And that's difficult for any writer to do, let alone having 2 seasons that have season 2 really does build upon season 1 and takes these characters on even more of a journey and even more of a spiral for the audience as well. Yeah. Did we want to touch on Junho's character? Let's just maybe go into spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you rate this drama out of 5 soju bottles?
It's a tough one because usually I rate my dramas with an element of how they made me feel and how much I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
And in some ways, this is not a drama that you could possibly enjoy.
No, it's such a hard, uncomfortable watch.
But at the same time, it is basically a work of genius.
Yes.
Of its type, of its genre, of the thing that it's trying to do and the way it's telling its story. As I said, in 12 episodes, it is a masterpiece, right? So in that sense, it's 5 soju bottles. In terms of how, this is not a drama I'll ever rewatch, even though it's only 12 episodes.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you that it's a 5 soju bottle show. However, and I would recommend it to people to watch with the caveat that you're not going to like it. Like, you're not going to like what happens.
No. Yeah.
Right? If you're watching K-dramas for the warm and fuzzies, I'm sorry to say, like, this is not that drama. This is why I picked it for Spooky Season, because it's not giving the vibes that most people want out of a K-drama. It is highly uncomfortable.
It is, yeah. And in that sense, it's also not something you just go, right, yeah, let's pop some microwave in the oven and just sit back and enjoy. Because also it's not a show that you just watch passing by. It's not something you just go, oh, that was a way to spend Friday night. Let's turn the TV off and I don't think about it anymore. It isn't one of those shows either, I don't think. I think it's something that stays with you, like it's haunting in that way, which is great for your season. But it's not like, it's not this passing kind of entertainment thing.
Right. It sticks with you and it gets in your spirit, and there's something about it that is sort of life-changing. And I feel like as a K-drama watcher, there's before DP and then after DP. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I agree.
So I still highly recommend it to people. I know a lot of people don't like violence. They don't like this sort of subject matter. They don't like feeling unhappy. It is an unhappy show. It's bleak. But I feel like it's essential. Like, if you want to be a consumer of Korean media, K-pop, K-dramas, variety shows, be fans of actors and singers and all the rest, I feel like you do have to watch something uncomfortable that is convicting the society that you're consuming content from.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I think we're going to get into spoilers for seasons 1 and 2 of DP right after this.
Excuse me, 뭐라고?
괜찮아.
You know, I have no signal. Oh, sorry.
Swear, disgusting shit.
What?
All right, we're on the other side of spoilers, so if you don't care to be spoiled about what exactly happens in DP seasons 1 and 2, please keep listening, and if not, stop and watch the show for yourself. So I think I wanted to start with Jun-Ho's first partner, which happens in episode 1. He gets, by some stroke of luck, he's tall and everything, and he's smart. He gets to become a DP, part of the military police, finding deserters. The joke is no one really knows what DP stands for, but I think in the community that watches DP, I think it stands for Deserter Pursuit. And the first partner that Jun-Ho gets paired up with is Corporal Park Son-woo, who is played by Ko Kyung-pyo. And this is hard. I mean, the first episode 1 does not hold back, and you kind of can't get a read on this partner. Is he earnest about the mission? Is he sort of not caring about the mission? And then, of course, once they get off base and get to Gangnam, instead of staying on mission, they go partying and drinking all night. Jun-Ho is clearly conflicted. And so because of the military rank, it means he has to fall in line with whatever Song-woo wants to do, because he can pull rank on him. It's just the way that it goes. And at one point, Jun-Ho goes outside the bar that they're at to smoke. And he is not paying attention to his surroundings. He's not paying attention to whatever. Someone comes up to him asking for to use his lighter. And Jun-Ho just gives it to him. He's like, oh yeah, I have 2 lighters. And he gives this rando the lighter that he had. And this small moment really changes the character of Jun-Ho immensely, because the ripple effect is that young kid was actually the exact deserter that they were supposed to be looking for. And that guy uses Jun-Ho's lighter to smoke himself to death in his motel room, committing suicide. And I just remember the way episode 1 ends with Jun-Ho wailing on Park Sung-woo, his partner. And they do this incredible thing where they do this switcheroo where he's punching this dude, but it's him. It's Jun-Ho. He's envisioning himself punching out himself. So it's really a form of self-harm and punishment for himself. So I guess self-flagellation, because he inadvertently killed somebody with his own apathy and indifference.
Yeah, and going against his own his own instinct, I guess, right? Originally to be like, okay, we're out here to do a role. We've got a job to do. Yeah. We're not here in Gangnam to party and to drink and and have freedom from the military.
And Park Sung-woo, that guy, comes back in season 2. I didn't think this would be the case.
Yeah.
But he comes back in season 2, and they have this knockdown, dragged out fight between the two of them, because he's trying to get the MacGuffin, which is the flash drive with all of the incriminating evidence on it of the military's misdeeds and cover-ups. And I thought it was a nice touch. I thought it was surprising.
I think I liked the fact that he's still there, right? This douchebag from season 1 that you could say in some ways led to this guy committing suicide. He's still around. And he's still got, the era. Obviously senior officers are, sending him out on assignments and stuff. Like, he's still seen as somebody who's trusted and reliable and can do things. And he's still around. Like, there is no redemption, right? There is no, bad guys are still there.
Right. He's not in a military prison for disobeying orders and causing this death instead of bringing this deserter in. I think he was discharged or something, or dishonorably discharged or some such. And then he was enlisted like one more time. I can't remember what it was, if he was discharged or if he just moved to another another segment of the military. Okay, yeah, we'll just go with that. I think that's what it was too. But he was more than happy to come back and, pummel Juno, who he blamed. He blamed Juno for ruining his life and his potential military career, which I thought was wild. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, like instead of placing the blame on himself, he blamed Juno.
Exactly. Well, this is why, like I said, I think it's it plays against the trope, right? So, in season 1, this thing happens and there's no self-reflection. There is no punishment for this guy. He comes back and this, I guess it's the reality of it, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I actually wondered if it's a specific casting decision as well. That it was Go Kyung-pyo who plays such a horrible character.
I think it totally was. I think it totally was. Do you want to expand on that?
Let's take this. Yeah, let's just take this wonderful guy that everyone falls in love with from Reply 98 because he's such a gentle soul.
Yeah.
And he's so kind and he's so lovely and he's got such an innocent face as well. He isn't a Son Suk-Ku, he isn't going to sit there and play like morally grey characters. He is just a really good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they put him with glasses and then they stick him in that bar and he just flips into this other character and you're like, oh shit, this is not Go Kyung-pyo as we know him.
Right. Yeah. Right. I do feel like he's playing against hype, and that is a stroke of brilliance to blindside the audience like that, playing on their expectations of this actor that he surely must be a hero character. And he's not.
No. And his face gets absolutely pummeled.
Mm-hmm.
Like absolutely pummeled in a way that we don't treat our lead actors like this. They don't have their face pummeled so badly that they're puffy and red and almost unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it was a deliberate choice to go, right, okay, let's take this, pretty boyishly good looking actor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's out smoking, he's out drinking, he's out partying.
Yeah.
He feels invincible.
Yeah. It was really hard hitting.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And then you can juxtapose him against the second partner, which is Corporal Han Ho-yeol, played by Gyo-hwan, who is this oddball dude, strangely insulated from all of the happenings in the military. And he combats a lot of the serious issues that happen around him, even the bullying. He interjects with comedy. And I think there's been a joke recently, I can't remember who made this joke, but it's not like in a K-drama or anything. I think it was just in the zeitgeist in America. But if you're ever in a situation where you need to get out of it, just confuse your attacker. And that is a tenet that he subscribes to, it feels like, because he's always just trying to break the tension, always trying to, unfocus the aggressors around him. And it's a great strategy, but it makes him feel like maybe more of a typical plucky lead in the K-drama.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he has this really impish quality about him. And obviously he's much slighter in build than pretty much the rest of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was also a deliberate casting thing as well. So he cannot use any physical superiority in a fight because he has none.
Mm-hmm.
But he has his wits and he has his, he's kind of slightly oddball, off-center personality that kind of puts you off guard. You don't know how to take him.
Right.
You don't really know who he is. And he plays that successfully to kind of get him out of scrapes and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a really fascinating character I think they created.
It's super fascinating. And I did say insulated earlier because a lot of shit goes down. He has been collecting deserters for a while before Juno shows up and becomes his partner. And he isn't necessarily that affected. You know, he does look at it as a job. He's coming at these investigations unconventionally, and they tend to work. His methods tend to work. And again, he's very quirky, like we said. But following the events of season 1, he's nonverbal. He is laid up in the hospital. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to re-enter the military and get back to work in the DP department. And I think that is also a stroke of genius and also extremely sad to see what is essentially your comedic relief character become mute from all of the trauma. I can't get over it. And how he finally does regain his voice and speak again, but it's not that the trauma stops. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he could process properly what happened at the end of season 1 and heal. It's like new wounds help, like, out of necessity, he had to start speaking again.
Yeah, I think that's a running theme as well through the whole drama. I thought it was a really interesting way to start season 2 for his character. Because I think definitely as I finished season 1, I was thinking, I don't think there is enough therapy available in Korea to help all of its men that have gone through this system and been fundamentally changed by it. And I think it was a comment as well, wasn't it, that this is kind of this is a broken section of society actually that not only don't get looked at but definitely don't get the help they need.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely, yeah. He wasn't, I don't feel, did they show him getting therapy or seeing any sort of counselor in the hospital?
No, the opposite, right? They keep trying to discharge him.
Yeah, they keep trying to discharge him. And the nurses are annoyed with him.
Yeah. Because they're like, you know, you're bed blocking and you're totally fine and you need to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. It's huge because they're only looking at the physical injuries.
Yeah, precisely,
not the mental.
Yeah.
Persistently like putting people out there that need, and he knows he needs help. He's like, I'm not leaving. I need to stay in the hospital. I'm sick.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're good.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're fine.
We've run all these tests and you passed them all, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, just leave. Yeah.
Anyway, I can't get over that character and how much I loved him. He was really sort of a bit of the heart of the show.
Was and in a way, I think season 2 suffers from having not enough of him. Actually, I think I do wonder whether or not they kind of where with season 2. I think there was an element of like they had the structure of the 6 episodes. And I think they try to make it fit the 6 episodes because actually I think they had so much stuff to say that I think they actually needed more than 6. And so, like I said, we get less of the bromance, which is actually some of the magic of season 1, I think. So that decision means that we get less of that. And then I think there's less of his character, which, as you said, is both a comedic relief and also part of like this kind of slightly weird team that we're rooting for. Yeah.
The other half of that team, we've already talked about him, but I think we need to dive a little deeper. It's Juno, which is played by Jung Hae-In, and I think season 1 you see a little more of where he's coming from before he enlists in the military, how he was not at fault for something at work and then they denied him his wages and fired him, and he's like, fine, I'm leaving, but then he takes a motorcycle, like the delivery scooter, on the way out. He's like, well, I'm leaving with something, you know what I'm saying? Which goes to show how he is gonna cope with some things, right? Like maybe he won't be overt and in somebody's face, but he will get what he thinks he deserves later. And he has a good sense of right and wrong. Because it's wrong of them to not pay him and fire him. But it's also wrong of him to like steal. You know what I'm saying? Like he does have a twisted sense of justice. And I think as an audience, you are on his side.
I mean, I think they do an amazing job with you. You are on his side really quickly. And they do his backstory in such a deft and concise but really impactful way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you see, again, this is like, this violence is not glorified in this, right? And that's partly, I think, they do it so well because of his backstory. Like, his boxing skills are not to be admired. They are actually he has to have become in order to survive. And he got really good at it because of his abusive father. So right from the start, this drama is saying, like, you know, don't admire this hero who is an amazing fighter for this, because he's become like this, you know, not for a good thing.
Right.
And now he's now making his living and his money. Well, he's living his life through this skill. And you don't, and Jung Hae-in is such a good actor as well. Like I think he really emotes through this and shows us that this is not who he wants to be. He is actually not a natural boxer. This is not something he takes joy out of.
Yeah. I think it's difficult for them to have crafted Juno with such a detached and hard personality. He is not this endearing hero. He has none of the charm of his partner, Han Ho-yeol, at all. You know, he is impassive. I think that's what the chief says at one point, that like, how can a guy be so impassive, like unfeeling? He just all the time looks like nothing, indifferent, like nothing can bother him. And at the same time, you obviously, as an audience, you're like, this is the only way he can make it through. This is a coping mechanism.
Yeah. And I think the drama does an amazing job, because this guy, like, Jung Hae-in can emote with his eyes like nothing else, right? And it's really funny because one of the scenes that he talked about in the fan meet about how he didn't want to be a military guy anymore, but he did also highlight that one of the favorite scenes for him in DP are the opening credits. You know, that it's really impactful, right? You know, when he's in the hall and he's with all the other recruits when they first start, and he just turns, and it's kind of deliberately fuzzy, made to look like some kind of cine handheld camcorder footage, and he just turns around and stares at the camera. Nothing else happens, and you're just like, what are we sending our young men to go and do? And I think that, and especially because it's in the opening credits, which they obviously play at the start of every episode, is always really haunting. And you feel like that's the real Jun Ho there. So as much as, you know, other people said, like you said, like he's impassive and, you know, he's just not showing any raw emotion, every time that scene plays, you're just like, there he is, right? You know, that guy that was at the start of the journey, he's still inside there.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy that's looking back helplessly and desperately, but still resolved.
Yeah.
And looking battle hardened before he's gone into any battle, because life is so difficult for him. You know, it's very compelling. This character is built very well, like you said. His backstory is told very well, and you're not dwelling on it. It's just a couple of scenes, like here and there, real quick. That's all you need. That's all you need, because you're invested in his emotional journey, the way that he responds to things, and the way that he just bursts out in quite few instances, but they're so violent.
And I think also through his character, like I said at the beginning, they kind of flip and say, this is not the drama that you think it is. And I think when we first started, like I certainly thought, when I barely knew anything about the drama, so before other people started watching it, I thought it was going to be kind of one of those dramas that is about deserters, and it was going to be like this crack team of investigators who bring back people that don't want to do their duty, don't want to do their service,
right,
because they're bad people, right? And I thought that's what this was. And in a way, I mean, right from the start, we know that this is not the case, right? Actually, the victims are the deserters. And so straight away, you have to switch your mindset. But also, we see right through both seasons, what an amazing investigator this guy is, right?
Yeah.
Like, what a great detective he is. And I feel a lot like the drama's also saying, like, look at who this guy could have been. Like, look at, if he wasn't from this background, if he'd have had a chance, he could have been such an amazing detective or a cop or whatever. But the system's failed him, and then we've put him in a system where he's actually, I think, using some of those skills, but he's not enjoying it, and we're using him to catch people that kind of don't deserve to be caught in a way,
Yeah.
So it's like this double tragedy.
Right. And speaking of tragedy, I guess we should cover the main victim of season 1, which is Seokbong, who is played by Cho Hyun-chol. And this guy.
So hey, I didn't write. So did you watch Did we talk Hotel Del Luna? Have you watched Hotel Del Luna?
I dropped it after a few episodes.
You dropped it, yeah. I'm not surprised. But when you put the show note, you were putting together the show notes for this. I just glanced through his past dramas because I was like, I'm just gonna see what else I've seen him in. I was like, what? Like, he plays Sanchez, who is the main lead's like best friend in Hotel Del Luna, and he just looks absolutely nothing like him. He plays him. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is the same guy. He was incredible.
Yeah, he was incredible. Scene stealing in the worst way possible. His journey, which I thought was just gut-wrenching, is he was a very soft person, very kind-hearted. I think he was a teacher, an art teacher. Am I remembering that wrong?
Yeah,
okay, because I remember him talking about students.
Hugely talented.
Yeah. So he was an artist, and they put him in the military-industrial complex in Korea. And of course, he did not thrive. He was bullied relentlessly. And the one bullying scene that I remember vividly is, I think they like pulled down his pants and lit his pubic hairs on fire, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
I think I remember being so shaken. I was literally shaking.
Yeah.
After that scene, it was incredibly morose and diabolical, and you would never like, in my wildest dreams, that's not what I expect bullying to look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was stunned, and it's literally no wonder that he deserts. And he goes after his aggressor, Jang-soo, who has since been discharged. This is Shin Sung-ho's character. And up until the very end, I mean, I had no idea where this was going to go. But his character, when he is talking to, I think, Juno about nothing can change. This establishment is never going to change. Our canteens, our water bottles are from the Korean War. They are a relic. This whole institution is a relic. Nothing's going to change. They don't even get us new equipment. We're using the same equipment that they used in the Korean War. And it was such a great visual that he said about the canteen being from the Korean War. It's like, this is you don't stop this train. No. And I think at the end of season 1, he says that if you, oh my God, what was it? It was like, if nothing's going to change, then I should do something, I think are some of his final words. And instead of shooting his aggressor, he ends up shooting himself. I mean, what did you think in that moment, and how were you feeling about this guy who missed and then was bleeding out in the snow?
Yeah. I kind of guessed that was potentially his end. Because I think by that point you're kind of like, this drama is not, it's not a K-drama.
Not gonna end well.
You know?
Yeah.
There's no happy ending here. And I did think that's kind of probably, yeah. I think also just the whole scene with him saying all of this was just the futility of it, right?
Yeah.
There's no answer to him to you know, even Junho's character is like this. He's got nothing to say because he knows there's no point in disagreeing because it would just be empty words because they know it. They both know it. It's nothing is going to change. And so in some ways it felt like the ending he chose for himself was the only ending that he could have.
That he could control.
That he could have, yeah. And I mean, this drama was because obviously Jung-Hae also calls him by the name that his students call him, right? Because he's found these students, and that was really, oh my god, that really hit really hard because you could see this because up until that point, I think this mass chase scene, and he's gone psycho, right? He has gone Full Metal Jacket. He's lost his mind, and in a way, he loses who Suk-Bong was for us, and then Jung-Hae calls him by his name, and then that disappears for a bit, and we see this guy, and again, it's like, look at who this person was. Look at what society, this kind-hearted, good man that like got so much joy out of teaching younger people how to draw. This is what we've done to him. This is who we've made him become. And we don't actually deserve him because we've broken him and we've not helped him, we've not supported him, and he's been put through so much abuse, and we haven't, he doesn't. I think so. Then when he finally took his own life, it felt a bit like this. Yeah, this drama was saying like he was too good for us. Really, he was too good for this system and this society because we failed him.
And I love when I think at some point he screams like, "Why are you after me?"
Yeah.
Why are you after me?
Yes.
Because I was done. I am the victim, basically. I think he stopped short of saying I'm the victim, but he didn't understand why they were pursuing him and not Shin Sung-Ul's character.
Yeah.
The people that did this to him.
Yeah. He was really just absolutely at his end, wasn't it? So I think the drama did so well with his character.
There is this theme throughout both seasons about revolving around mothers, right? I think in season 1, Han Ho-yeol says 9 out of 10 suicidal deserters call out for their mother before they die.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Suk-Bong does. I think the final words that you hear from him are like, "Oh, mom," like mother. Calling out for his mom at the very end. And obviously we talked about Juno's family life. Juno has a fractured relationship with his mother. She sends him letters he doesn't read. And when his dad is in the hospital, who's clearly an abuser, he begs his mom to leave him. Yeah. And she won't. Perpetuating this cycle of abuse, right? That is so evident within the show. And in season 2, we also get more of this like motherhood with more mothers being brought in, right? Yeah. Because in the season 2, you have the new victim, the new big deserter of the show, Ruri, I think is his name, or Ruri. He goes to see his mother because the military deliberately puts out personal information about him, his address, and saying he's armed and dangerous when he really wasn't armed or dangerous to the public. And it causes like this mass hysteria, and they start harassing and pelting his mother with abuses. And that whole scene of them outside of their little shop and the mother getting in between, you know, him and the firing squad that's there, and will they, won't they shoot this deserter? And him just being there for like, he just, the mother-son bond in running through the show, and especially in that scene, is very heavy-handed, I think. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I agree with you that motherhood is definitely a theme throughout this drama, and it is obviously the one that really tugs your heartstrings. This overwhelming feeling of like these mothers have worked so hard to bring up these sons, and then they send them off to the military for safekeeping, I guess. And the show is showing to you, we do not keep them safe. You know, we do everything else but keep them safe. And they're broken. So all of this love and everything you poured into these children, we've just kind of systematically broken it down. And you know, the people that are tossed out at the end are no longer the sons that you sent in. They're no longer the people that you loved. You know, they are broken inside.
How did you feel about Seo-eun, who is the lieutenant colonel, the female, the new addition to season 2? Is played by Kim Ji-hyun. She's brand new character, and then they reveal used to be married to Son Suk-Ku's character. They are like exes, but she is also a mother.
Yes.
Right? But also part of these really dicey decisions that the higher ups are making about these deserters and how to spin this story. She's like a PR lady, a lot of what she's doing.
Yeah. I think she was probably one of the weaker parts of the show for me. I felt a little bit like they thought that season 2 should have a woman in it. And they kind of created this character for a woman. And I'm not sure that... So I think some of the ways that they managed to make morally grey characters in the rest of the season, I think they tried to do that with her a little bit. But they almost did it without conviction. Like, it was kind of like, should we do it like this? Should we do it like this? And so it felt like it just fell between the lines a little bit. And then I think, to be honest, I also got a bit annoyed towards the end, thinking like, how do these senior military officers also just happen to be able to be attorneys in a law court? Like, that's a thing, is it? Like, you can both be a trained lawyer and also very senior in the military. Like, that is like
that's a few good men as well. I don't know.
You're right. Yeah, you are right.
I don't know.
But it just felt like it came out of nowhere, though. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, a few good men, at least it built.
Yeah.
You know, like it built it. Like here, it felt like, oh, it just so happens that we didn't tell you this, by the way, but they're like also lawyers, both of them.
It's very true, because it feels like it came out of left field. She was working in this because of this outcome for this deserter and how bad it made the military look, and they live streamed this whole ordeal and it made them look bad. She got fired, but I was like, fired? Do they mean discharged from the military? So I was confused if she was even in the military exactly. I was confused. And then she signs up to be the lawyer for the same guy, for Ruri. And I'm like, but she was directly involved in this whole thing. Like, will the military, is that lawful to have her be the lawyer?
Like a huge conflict of interest. Right? Yeah, I know. Like, does she interview herself at some point and just go, you know, she talk about your role as a commanding officer at the time when he was, Yeah, that was a bit of an odd, like, I think that was a bit of a misstep, I think, for the drama.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I think we have to talk about episode 3 of season 2, which is really funny, with the two, Arjuno and his partner, going on like this wild goose chase for 2 different deserters who are notoriously still in the books because they're still missing. One has been missing for 8 years and the other one's been missing since like the Korean War or something like that. It was like two different. And then not only is it really funny because of like the hijinks that happens, which is a nice reprieve after the whole standoff that happens previously in episode 2. But episode 3 also has the LGBTQ discrimination and violence, which this episode made me cry. I don't know if how it affected you, but this storyline with Corporal Jang Soo-min, aka Nina, who they show this flashback sequence of him performing at the performing arts school, which I didn't even know performing arts schools have a hierarchy, but apparently they do, because he was like lower on the rung of performers and he was getting beaten up by his senior for wanting to play a female character. I mean, there was like a lot of things that were shocking to me in this episode, and the way that this story resolves is, again, just not satisfactory at all. It's not what you want to happen at all. Did you have thoughts about this story? Yeah.
This was probably my favorite part of season 2. Mm-hmm. If favorite in quote marks, because again, it's not an enjoyable thing. Right? But I think the whole story was told so well, and again condensed. So, like they told a K-drama worth of a story in an episode, so well, so deftly, and you, even though you kind of know what their end is, what Nina's end is gonna be, you're still rooting for her, right up until like she's at the airport, and you're still thinking, you're still hoping that somehow this drama is gonna give you some redemption, right?
That she gets out of the country and makes it to London. Yeah. And it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't happen. Like, it's a series of unfortunate events because when they find Nina on the bridge, I just lost it. It was too much because it could have been avoided. Like it could have been avoided.
Yeah, and I thought the song that she sang as Nina was just so haunting.
I know.
Amazing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Amazing. And I really love that this drama went here as well, because it was like, because I think that's what season 2 did also, was broaden slightly out of just the military and talk about Korean society as a whole. So addressing its homophobia, addressing, you know, how someone who is potentially going to present as trans not going to be accepted in Korean society. They are always going to be the bottom of they're going to be bullied for it, and it was all very homophobic and just very familiar for us in the West, and yeah, just so depressing.
I think that was the story that really resonated with me for season 2, was the story of Nina and the passion that she like could not give up on. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, at the end of the episode, they end up thinking, our two guys end up thinking about like their purpose in life and wondering if they'll ever go to the extent that Nina did to chase their passions. And
or chase their authentic self.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a huge question. They don't seek to answer these questions. They just pose them for the characters and for the audience.
It's a mirror to society. It's like, look, this is what we do to people. We make them fit in, or they
conformity, which the military is all about conformity.
Yeah, and Asian society is all about conformity. So I think it's a double. This is why I'm glad that they showed this thing. But I also find, like, I mean, I know you guys already did an Extraordinary Attorney Woo episode, but I do find it funny as well that Asia kind of presents the West as being a solution. So like she could go to the UK and be herself, and it's like,
that's
well,
right.
we treat trans rights.
Yes.
We treat trans people really badly here too, right? They have higher suicide rates and lower mental, like really bad mental health. You're like, we're not, you know. And in the same way, you know, in the US, like people with autism are, you know, they're kind of tried to like they're abused through, you know, ABA, which is like a conversion therapy for autistic people. It's like, I love that you present the West as some kind of salvation for like Asians that don't fit in, but unfortunately,
is that how the writers feel, also, right?
Yeah, or society thinks it's okay, you know, and I wish that it was the case, but yeah,
I know.
I mean, it's probably better still, but not definitely very far away from being salvation. But I think the other, like I said, I think we talked about how there's less vignettes in season 2, but the ones that really they did feature were amazing. So the other one, on the North Korean guard post, like that again is another masterpiece in storytelling.
Jesus, this is the horror episode. As much as there's horrifying things happening in all of the other episodes of DP, this one truly leaned into the horror aesthetic. Yeah. And it felt like you were watching a horror movie. The way that they shot it.
Like, yeah. And the way they created, just again, with very few shots, very small amount of time, this incredibly claustrophobic pressure cooker environment on the border of North and South Korea. Amazing storytelling. Amazing.
Yeah. I think this one was maybe a little bit... the role reversal was key to this, right? Because you have Son Suk-Ku's character who's convinced that his friend died, was murdered, not died. And it turns out that his friend was not murdered. He just died in a really stupid accident that could have been avoided. And not only was his friend not this great guy, he was actually the aggressor. He was the bullying his... the people underneath and all of the younger, lower ranked soldiers underneath his command. And I think that this episode also covers this like slight tangent that memories are faulty.
Yeah. What's it called? The narrator, you know, my brain is not working at this time of the night. What is it? Like, you know, when you have a drunk narrator and you're not sure whether what they've narrated is
an
is
unreliable narrator.
That's it, an unreliable narrator. And you don't, and it's such a great bake out. So again, this drama is just like every time you think you know what you're doing and every time you think you know what's happening, it just pulls the rug out from under you. You go, no, actually, this is not what this story is.
How did you like Choi Hyun-wook, who plays Ah-hui, who's that younger, very sort of defiant soldier who's the only witness to the CEO dying? Masterful performance, I thought, because you really do think
amazing
he's at fault or he's sketchy. He's hiding something.
Yeah. Well, I love that we get both versions, right? As the audience, we get to see both sides. So, and both of the actors are amazing.
Yeah.
Because they play the complete opposite of each other so convincingly that actually as an audience, there you do have a moment where like, which one was real? Yeah. Which one was the thing that actually happened? Because they both are so completely convincing in their scenarios.
Yeah. I think the last thing that I have in my notes is just the train fight from episode 5, which feels very much like a Netflix hallway fight, except on a train.
Yes.
And Juno, who is Jung Hae-In's character, just goes ape shit. Like he fights like 30 guys and wins. Like he's a superhero at this point. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that action sequence.
I didn't know whether it was deliberately referring to it because it felt quite Train of Busan.
Yes,
a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, not with zombies, obviously, but this kind of like relentless kind of like people would appear, there'd be more of them, and then you'd think it was over, and it was almost like the show's like, just take a breath because we're at it again, and it was just like, yeah. Right. And the way they shot it, as I said, I'm not a big violence and action kind of fan, but they really shot it so well, like the pacing and it felt very raw. It felt really raw. So yeah, kudos to the whole team for all of that. It was great fight sequence.
Great fight sequence. Oh, I had one more note for season 2, that you do have Bong-gu, who's like the chief. They're trying to get him to sign this document that states who is responsible. He's going to take responsibility for the failure of season 1's deserter pursuit thing, and they were going to make him sign a petition letter that stated that Sok-bong was mentally ill, which led to his suicide, instead of revealing the real reason for his death, which was the deluge of hellacious abuse that he was subjected to and was victimized on their watch. The fact that they were using mental illness as they were weaponizing mental illness for their cause. I don't know, that did something to me, because I was like, oh, so they know when to pull that trigger and say, oh no, he was mentally unstable. We could do nothing to stop this crazy man who was, on a rampage. I was like pretty stunned at that, actually. I think, is there anything else that you wanted to add before we get out of here? Because
the ending, how do you feel about the ending?
It was because it offered, nobody won, right? Like in this hearing or court case that happened where they were trying to get into evidence that incriminating flash drive. Yeah. Nobody won. Like, the military accepted some responsibility, but then you can't remove any responsibility from our victim, Ruri, who was on trial as well. So it was like a win-lose situation. It was interesting that the lawyer thought, oh, it was a small win for us, it's a step in the right direction for us, for the military to concede one fact.
Yeah.
One point about the scenario. But again, it's like a losing battle. It's not a losing battle, but one that obviously can't have immediate and lasting effects. So, did you like the ending?
I think it was fitting I would have felt really cheated if it somehow tried to get a happier ending than that. I think that was literally the most happy ending that it could have. And then also the reappearance of Sok-bong kind of in Jung Ho's imagination was really like, oh. And I also thought the drama was very good in the sense that, it started off, and the episode started with how many days to discharge. How many, as if that was
the countdown.
I think they did a good job of saying the countdown, but it wasn't actually a countdown to anything, because his life is fundamentally, it might be better if he's not in the military, but it's not there's not a rainbow at the end of that discharge day, right? When it finally gets down to 0, he is fundamentally a changed person. And
I think the better piece of the ending, piece of the puzzle, is when he does see the aggressor from season 1 in his life, in university, just living his life. Nothing happened.
Yes, so true.
No
right? Yeah, he's
consequences.
lighthearted, and I actually really loved that just really small snippet cameo. That one lash in Sung-Ho looking having fun as a girl, he's living a great life, and
Jung Hae-in's I'm going through the ringer here, and this man who inflicted so much damage is totally fine. He seems unaffected, not at fault. And I think that's how a lot of society probably views those 2 years that they're in the military. It's like a dream. You just want to forget it. And that's how he was living his life. He was like, I'm out. I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm back in school. And I don't have to think about that time anymore. You do want something to happen to Shin Sung-ul's character, Jang-soo, but it was very powerful for them not to have anything happen to him.
I think I would have felt like it would have gone. It just would have felt tonally wrong, I think, if they did.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
To be honest. Yeah.
I agree. Well, I've come to the end of my notes on DP. I originally didn't really want to cover this in blog form or any form because it was so heavy and there are so many different topics. We can still be talking here for a couple more hours on DP, but I think at the end of the day, it is an affecting drama. It's incredibly moving, and I still feel like it's an essential, important watch for people who are remotely interested in Korean media, Korean society.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. We have to take the light and the dark, don't we? We can't just always just choose a fantasy version of Korea that we are putting on it. You know, this is absolutely an essential watch in that sense. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad I made it. I think domestically, I was just chatting to my my Korean colleague that season 1 did really well, but actually season 2 wasn't quite as big. But I would also recommend for those of you who finished the drama and just need a bit of like more lightheartedness that the Netflix K content Jenga game is a nice way to kind of like just lighten the mood a little bit and
it's cute.
See our actors kind of be a bit more a bit funny and that's a nice way to kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, watch some of that extra not promo content. Well, it is promo content of the cast.
It is promo, yeah.
Just having a good time. That'll kind of break the tension a little bit and get you out of this headspace. But definitely recommend something light in nature after watching DP. Don't just like sit in your feelings after this show. But it is spooky season, and I'm glad you joined us for this DP review. I'm really glad that we did it. Sarah, where can we find you online?
I post on Instagram at Kdrama This, and I'm also the co-host of a podcast called Afternoona Asks, which I co-host with Grace, who's a Korean American, and I'm British Chinese, and we try to answer and give some of the Asian viewpoint of all the questions that we have in our K-drama, C-drama, and Asian drama watching.
Perfect. Yes, I love Afternoona Asks. The Burning Sun interview that you guys did, incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you. I think it's very much exactly the theme we're talking about now, actually, that I think it's important to access this content too and see the other side of Korea. And it's not just, like I said, the fantasy K-drama version. I think we owe it to ourselves to kind of explore the darker sides of Korea society as well. Yeah,
exactly. Again, thank you for coming on such short notice. Have a wonderful Halloween, and I hope you get back in the swing of things and you're not jet lagged anymore. I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.